I'm on mute. Thanks for the resub, Fup. Thanks for the gift. Whatchamacallit? The Battle Brothers DLC. There we go. Ah. All right. Let's see. Oh, we still have a minute of ads, but does it really matter? Dive, solo, be in the air for explore. Ah, sweet. Thank you. Let's get explore done. Boo, 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 boo. How are you doing this fine middle of the night for you? What? I deconnected, but still connected. Oh, yes, I should probably, turn on stream. Slept for like 3 hours. Nice. What's wrong with you? Stupid explorer. Do I need to do something else first? It's only solos, so. Yeah. Alright, Fall Guys. You don't want to work. Let's exit and restart. I think after I get my Fall Guys dailies done, I think I'm going to try and do Limbus Company Story. I think that's what I'm going to try and do today. Unstable internet, my butt. Limbus Company. It's it's kind of an RPG turn-based strategy game, but very unique. Unlike most things. It's very dark. Dark fantasy. Oh my goodness. Just doesn't want me to play anything today. Yeah, it's the one with the confusing arrows everywhere. But I'm gonna start from the beginning, so maybe it'll be less confusing. Ugh, stupid. Stupid Epic and their dumb services. Will you connect this time, or is something wrong with your servers? All right, well, maybe we just not play Fall Guys today, because it does not seem like it wants me to play Fall Guys. I get disconnected once more, I will just give up on this for today. Of course, it's going to get me to play one of the worst modes possible. It launched right into me. Fortunately, you don't know what you're doing, so... Alright, roll out. Alright. Really, nobody should die on this one, but that is not usually what happens. Yep, there goes a bunch. Three, four, five. 5 people made it. Theoretically, judging by the ranks, I should win this, but you know, I have a good. I am very good at choking finals. That is my best quality. Light work is like the one final that I am actually good at. Alright, will you let me get stupid Explorer out of the way, or is this going to crash again? Interesting that this showing up in Explorer. But since it's not really compete, I do not care about finishing first. What I do care about is being in the air for 75 seconds during this whole thing. I don't know if... One, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. So we just sit here. Fourteen, 15. One, 24, 25, 26, 27. Hopefully that was enough. Yay. Alright. Apologies, but I'm going to be right back. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Hey, Hydran, Deacon. All right, just need a little more solos. And we're good, and we can do something else. Space race. I need to fix that, don't I? I'll have a second. Yeah, it doesn't. Oh. Alright. Quests. Reject. There, you get your points back. Yeah, I just need to add the sound effect thing on the be right back screen. Eat your food, cat. Stop meowing and eat your food. City goober. Yeah, you can't lose your 100 points, right? Well, you have your 100 points back if you want to redeem it now. Or you could do something cool like this.
That's a lot of nuts! You want fries with that?
Eat your food. It's right there. Eat it. Ooh, 60K. Very nice.
Inconceivable! They're very nice.
So what you're saying is I need to make Sinister Laugh more expensive so that you spend it, right? One snowball, really? Everything else will be 100, but that one specifically will be 1,000 just for you. Ah! uh. Nah, I'm not changing those. They need to be an accessible price so anyone watching for a little bit can redeem something. Hi, cat. What's your problem? Meow. Yes, I hear you. What? What? Eat your food. You have like a whole bunch of food up there. Yeah, a whole bunch of food up there. Go eat it. All right, hopefully this is the last Fall Guys I have to do for today. And then we can do some Limbus Company. Why are you playing Lost Ark, Deacon? You have a hole for predatory games to fill in your heart. You guys are playing Lost Ark? Why? Because Dean wants to? Really? Like, no one goes through here? What is that? Maple Story or Ragnarok Online? Oh, okay. Interesting. I mean, I played a bunch of Lost Ark, so... And Dean really likes his predatory MMOs, doesn't he? Because the other way you can play them is to grind for your entire life to get to the next thing. You basically have to not play anything else but grind for 10 hours a day to continue in Lost Ark once you get up to cap. Well, you're not going to get very far then. You're going to become a Lost Ark streamer. Because you won't have time to play anything else. Like, the gameplay is fine, but well, that's not gonna help you with your sky scale, that's for sure. Like, maybe it's a little easier for the early raids and stuff if that's what Dean wants to do, but once you get even slightly caught up, it's ridiculous. Cool. So he's already moved on from Warframe. We're now doing something different. I mean, maybe. I doubt it, but maybe. There is a lot of dedicated Lost Ark fans. I don't know why I can't get this stupid thing. Well, when people do that, oh, the first time I've been eliminated on that in a long time because I was distracted. Well, good luck to you. Hopefully that was enough. Yes. Alright, we're done. Yay. Oh, no, we're not done. Wait, grab? I didn't see that was grab. Well, one more. You know what classes you guys are going to play or whatever they call them? Why aren't you eating your food, you little goober? There's been many thrown out. Which two are you creating? Darn. Okay. What? Need to grab somebody. Need to remember to grab somebody. I think I played Shadowhunter mostly. When I did play. I just need to hold somebody. Don't need to do anything. I just need to hold somebody. Give me a hug. Lol. I mean, I will say, of those three options that you gave, Lost Ark is probably the best game. You can play them best from worst, with Maple Story being last. Could revive Ragnarok? Yeah, right. What, that Maple Story is the worst of those three? I don't think that's too controversial. Yeah, nostalgic in how horrible it was to you. Both of them are looking for one more. It'll be hilarious if there are no more. Oh, there's one. There's one. gonna get it. You don't even see it yet. Now he does. What is going to be our whatchamacallit? Our finale. Roll off. All right. Woo! Well, today was a fairly good day. 2 wins. Should have gotten my grab in. Yeah. All right. All right. Here we go. All right. Let us. Make sure. Alrighty. We will start at the very, very beginning.
이제 알았어? 뛰어봤자 벼룩이라는 걸.
You see now? You can't run from us. You dare interrupt me when I was just engraving the... You must be one of your... out of your...
엄밀히 따져보면 스승님이 하려는 게 도시의 금기는 아니더라.
Technically speaking, I can tell that our master's plan doesn't really break any of the city's taboos.
아무도 시도할
It's just
생각조차
the kind of thing that
그런
no one
일이라고
has
해야
ever
하나?
dared to even consider attempting. You catch my drift?
어라? 근데 이 녀석
Huh? Would you look at that?
그 사이에 머리를 갈아 끼웠군.
Managed to
원래
get a
당신
different
같은
head in
것들은
so fast.
준비성조차 철저한가?
Are people like you are always prepared for anything? Just wait till I get the something. The likes of you will be no match for.
아무래도 저 대가리엔
I
입까지
guess that
없는
new
모양이야.
noggin doesn't come with a mouth, huh?
째깍거리는
Yep.
소리만 들리는.
All I can hear is the clock ticking.
속에서는 비명이라도
Think they're
지르는
screaming
걸까?
on the inside? That's me with the clock head. The ticketing's going faster, so I guess they can still feel pain. Dang it. Why am I being attacked? Not good. Memory decay already? Something was done too quick.
뭐야? 이젠 잠잠하네. 그럼 슬슬
They've gone
끝내자.
quiet already. Let's get this over with.
늑대, 여긴
No one
누구도
ever
오지
comes here,
않고
Wolf.
누구도 볼
There are
수
no
없는
eyes on
곳이야.
us. What's the hurry?
뭐가 그리?
우린 가르침을 따라야 해.
We must follow her
시간을 끌어서는 안
teachings.
되니까.
No wasting time.
그렇지만
Yeah, but
우리가 살면서 언제
can't we
이런
just savor the
녀석을
moment?
죽여보겠어?
we're not going to get another chance to off someone of this caliber.
사자, 너는
You
일을
have a
할 때
tendency to
너무
grow
감정적이야.
far too emotional on a job.
공과 성 구분하면
Lion.
좋겠군.
Don't mix business with pleasure.
얼굴을 보고 싶었는데 아쉽게 됐어.
Shame.
당신의 별이 어디
I so wanted to have a look at your
알려주지
face.
않겠지.
I reckon you won't tell us where your star is, yes? Like hell I am. I'm taking Blank's location to the grave with... Dang it, where was I... Where was Blank supposed to be again? My memories are fading too quickly.
그렇군.
Right.
이봤었지.
No mouth.
자연히
Meaning, this one can't tell us how to find it.
그럼 이제 끝내도 돼?
Can I end them now?
그래.
Sure.
이거
Hey,
무슨 소리야?
what's that noise?
표범.
You let yourself get tailed,
설마
Panther?
뒤에다가 추적자들을 달.
아니, 쫓아올 자는 아무도 없었어.
No, there wasn't anyone who could have
짐승의
tracked me.
확률은
Just a wild animal, perhaps?
짐승 소리가 아니야.
That doesn't sound like any animal I can think of. That's
버스.
a bus?
저런 게 어떻게 여기까지 굴러들어왔지?
How did it even end up here?
조난당한 버스인가 본데.
Must have taken a wrong turn?
길을 잘못 든 죄값은.
Ooh, they're about to pay quite the hefty price for that wrong turn. Did
사자가
Lion just get pushed back? Alright, bye, Hydrin.
여전히 내 눈이 틀림없다면
My eyes are still right.
당신은
Then
영원히
you will
하늘을
not
이루겠지.
fail to reach the port of glory. Who are you? That nameplate says Faust?
어두운 숲에서 길을
Lost your
잃었군요.
way in a dark forest. What?
하지만 당신은
Yet you were not overcome with
두렵지
fear.
않았어요.
Why was that?
왜일까요?
That's because I could simply lift my head to find the star.
그래요.
That's right.
이제 그 형상을
Now keep
보내면서
revisiting that image and let your heart speak those words aloud.
너의 별을
Follow your star. Follow your star. At that moment, I felt a sudden thump in my head, followed by the sensation of multiple chains penetrating me.
걱정하지 마세요.
Please, don't worry. Your heart is still functional, though it may feel otherwise.
이것으로 계약은 완료되었습니다.
With this, the pact is sealed.
단테,
Dante, from this day forth, we are bound to your time. What do you...
이제 저희의 심장이 멎고
The
뛰면
beating of your hearts now
당신의
depends
시력이 어디
on where your
위치에
hands
있는지에
fall.
달렸습니다.
Assume the clock hands is what
잘
she means.
부탁드려요.
Hope you'll make a fine leader. Hour?
정말 이걸로 된
Is that
건가요?
really everything?
사과 한 알이 떨어졌어.
Single apple has fallen.
이 사람은
This
아직도
guy's not
이상한
making
소리만
any
하네.
sense.
찌뿌둥해.
Jeez, that wait was killing me. Are we finally getting some action?
뭐 몸을 풀어.
Well, a little warm-up wouldn't hurt.
불쌍하게 나뒹굴고 있는 저것은 뭐지?
What's that miserable thing writhing on the ground? Are they to be the newest addition to the squad? You might want to watch your language. I heard our soon-to-be
습격은
boss.
순식간이었을 텐데
Must have been an instant ambush, yet you still managed to hide your head. Who are you people? And what's up with this bus?
우리는 당신을 돕기 위해
We are the
찾아온
heralds of
정의의
justice who
사자들이다.
have come to aid you,
이건
and this is the
원하는
magical
곳으로
bus
어디든 갈수 있는
that can
마술 버스다.
take us wherever we wish to go. Justice? Bus? I don't...
그런 대답을 바라는 거 아니었어요?
Is that not what you wanted to hear?
마음 편할 테니.
You feel more at ease that way.
시간도 없고 유리한
We're
상황도
racing
아니니까
against time and the situation isn't in our
가장 한
favor.
번만 설명하자.
So let me explain this once. After some time passed. So let me get this right. As long as I do as you say, those complete strangers who I've never even met before will fight in my stead?
맞아요.
Correct.
당신이
So long as you give them the right orders. Right, then. Let's slaughter these people. Go back to where I was. And what was I doing? Where am I even supposed to go back to? I was right on the cusp of an extremely important moment, something I was never supposed to forget.
진정해요. 그
Calm
모든
down.
기억이 온전할 리가.
It is only natural that this new head would have adverse effects on your memory.
지금은 눈앞에 놓인
Focus on the
장치에
struggle
집중하지
at
않아요.
hand, Dante.
시
Hello. I'm
뭐라고
not sure how I
불러야지?
should address you.
시계 지휘관님.
Would Commander
아무튼
Clock
전투
suffice?
명령을 내려주십시오.
In any case, we await your orders.
뭘 명령까지야.
Hey, do we really need orders? Seems like going one-on-one is the only way. Huh? Hey,
뭘 쑥덕대고 있는 거야?
you lost. Quit your
그렇게
prattling.
그만하잖아.
We just need to crush them all.
최선을 다해주세요.
Please,
단테.
do your best, Dante. I guess I don't have any other choice. Fine, don't eat your food. Go away. The tutorial, even though I know what's going on. Actually, I should wait for a 3-minute ad. Let us learn the basics of combat. This is the dashboard. Find each center's skills on the dashboard. Control scheme is simple. Drag from left to right on the dashboard. Well done. Now the skills for all members have been chained. You can press the gear on your right to start the combat phase.
좋은 전략이네요. 가보죠.
And that is how the manager, issue your orders. Let's try that again. Look at the dashboard, chain, grab from left gear, connect the skills along command using that. Use the dashboard to issue commands to your centers in combat. Start the combat phase by following these steps. Grab and drag the chain from the left gear. Thread it through the skills you want to use. Connect the chain or select the right gear. Just gotta follow their prompt.
좋은 전략이네요. 가보죠.
For now, so you watch all of them die. Now, please issue a command.
금방 다녀올게.
Doesn't matter. No matter what I do, they're just all gonna die, so.
금방 다녀올게.
Wow, that was an awesome battle. Post-battle.
이해가 되지 않는군.
I don't get it. These nomads managed to take Lion down?
잠깐만.
Whoa, hang on. I know this is kind of weird coming from someone you were just fighting, but I'm pretty sure we can take this out.
이건
This
이상적이지 않소.
is not ideal.
저렇게 말이 안
I
되는
knew it
싸움을
was a
생각했는데
ridiculous idea to put up a fight against them.
다들 장난해? 난 시작.
Are y'all kidding? I haven't even started. What the hell? You said you'd fight in my stead.
이겨준다는 말은 안 했어요.
We never promised to win said fights. What?
그리고
And it seems that I'm the only survivor. Oh, okay. So you meant for this to happen? You got an ace up your sleeve, haven't you?
비장의 수
Not necessarily an ace, no.
그저
This is simply about
별을
following the star.
자살놀이라도 하는 건가?
Is this supposed to be a mass suicide or something? It's a rather unpleasant display. What am I supposed to do? Arriving with all that fanfare only to die like flies. Ugh. I can't remember a thing about the past since I repeated what she said. Is this how I die? Deliver this message to the serpent, false lion.
이건 막을 수 없는 흐름이라고.
This is a flow that cannot be stopped. Ah! The red? But why?
내가 왜 팔다리만 잘라낸
You know why I only had those two dismembered?
그래야
Because one of you needs to be intact to carry the rest and scram pell-mell out of here.
달아난 팔과 다리를
And you're the one,
줄
only one left to offer them any help.
붉은
The
시선.
red gaze.
그렇게 노려보지 마.
Don't glare at me like that. This is nothing compared to what
별것도
you
아니잖아.
did.
그 정도 부상이면
With wounds like those, I'm sure your boss will recognize the effort you put in.
생각할 거다.
Consider them a badge of honor.
아니면
Unless
여기서
you want to meet your end here. Who are you one of them? You're too late. They're already...
늦은 건 아무것도
I am
없습니다.
not late for anything, Dante.
우리에게 필요한 건 오직
We only need
되돌릴 시간
a little time to rewind. I'm suddenly overwhelmed with an excruciating stab of pain in my chest, as though my heart were being torn asunder, followed by flashes in the ribs, intestines, stomach, and lungs. Ah! Couldn't even tell where the pain was coming from anymore. I let out a cry of pure agony as I felt my body twisting and breaking open. My consciousness fading, the only thing I could perceive was the sight of mutilated bodies around me inexplicably regenerating.
앞으로도 끝내주겠고.
You're in for one hell of a painful ride from here on out, Dante. And the voice of the man with red eyes. There we go. Go through everything. Hear a beast howling from somewhere. It cries ceaselessly. Is it wailing out of hunger? Or they're being itchy twitchy. Are they up?
드디어 정신을 차렸군.
Awake at last.
버티지 못하고 골러갔어.
I would have been a tad disappointed if you croaked on us.
상쾌한 아침.
Refreshing morning. This is Charon, the bus driver.
아침은 아니지만
It's not morning, but I suppose it could be refreshing.
기분이 어떻습니까?
How do you feel, Dante? Well, I
지각거리는군.
tick talking like a clock. This language barrier will be quite a hassle.
저는
You may call me Virgilius.
이 말이 제대로 들린다면
If you can hear me, Dante, give me a sign. I gave him a quick nod. He didn't seem hostile.
좋아.
Good, at least your hearing is functional. Time to drive, Charon. Charon.
출발할게.
Now departing. Vroom vroom. There was a heavy roar and vibrations, as though they echoed from the bottom of a deep mire. It was then that I realized I was aboard a bus. A bus... I can't be sure if I've ever ridden such a vehicle in the past.
당신이 누구였는지는
Do you remember who you were? I shook my head to say no. I had just been reminded that my head was now a clicking mechanism of sorts.
원래 기억을 되찾고
I
싶겠군.
suppose you want your memory back, don't you? I nodded. I sure felt like an idiot.
매끄럽군.
Smooth as it gets. What's to stop the rest of you from adopting this gesture-based communication?
어떻게 생각하지?
What do you think, Miss Faust?
파우스트는 사양하고 싶어요.
Faust will respectively decline.
저희가
Respectfully
매끄럽게
decline.
움직일 수
I find it
있으면
unlikely that situations ahead will permit us the physical liberty for smooth gesture-based communication. She's the one who spoke to me back in the forest. Her silver hair, glistening even without sunlight, gives off a rather mysterious air.
단테.
Dante. Dante? Come to think of it, the man with red eyes has been calling me that too.
단테는 당신의
Dante
이름이에요.
is your name. The amnesia must be affecting you rather severely. Sure looks like it. That doesn't sound familiar at all.
점차 익숙해질
You'll
겁니다.
get used to it in time. Wait, you can understand me? The group that attacked me earlier and that Vergi, or whatever he was called, seemed to hear nothing but ticking from me.
파우스트에게는 제대로
Faust
된
can
단어가
hear what you
들립니다.
intend to speak. You actually can? But how? I don't even have a real mouth.
그런 구시대적인
Assumptions of yesteryear must be one of the side effects that came with your head replacement.
성대나 혀 따위에
It's an
발성기가
anachronism to
있어야만
think that
대화를 할수
vocal
있다는
organs such as the chords or
시기착오적
tongues are
능력이죠.
necessary for one to communicate. Anachronistic. Right. Never considered that.
당신의 말은 한
You
사람에게만
can limit the recipient of your words to one person or choose to speak to everyone at once.
모두라는
A little
말을
clarification.
추정해야겠군요.
The scope of everyone is limited to the sinners. Sinners?
당신의 뒤에 앉아
The
있는
people seated behind you.
방금까지
The very
당신의
same who
대신해서
fought
싸운
in your
사람들을
stead
말하는
until
겁니다.
mere moments ago. Oh, so thou art the final piece that completes our journey's cast. How I have yearned for this moment.
아, 형씨.
Say,
머리
pal,
털어내다가 팔아넘겼어.
where'd you sell your old cranium off?
당신이었군요.
So it was you. Thanks for putting my spine back into one piece. Were you a surgeon or something in the nest?
다들 닥쳐라.
Keep your mouth shut.
겹치는 것만.
Nothing is more unpleasant than hearing a cacophony of noises.
자기 소개가
Now,
필요한
a brief
시점.
introduction is in order.
그럼 가벼운
I'll give you
인사를
time
하는
to
시간을
make yourself
주겠다.
known, starting with
앞에 앉은
the one
것부터
seated at the very front.
시작.
Speak.
에이, 왜 이런 건 항상 앞자리부터
Why is it always the ones in front that go first? I'm sick of taking the lead.
당신이 우리를
I heard you were going to be our boss, or, yeah, our manager. Manager?
그래.
Yeah, which is why I was real curious to meet you. And,
역시 뭔가 말을 만드는
it's always tough work to choose the right
머리
words.
돈 어디
Don't know what
팔아먹는지
you did
모르겠지만
with your old head, but I guess everyone's got a story to tell.
나는 그레고르라고 한다.
I'm Gregor.
잘 부탁한다고.
We're in this together, Manager Bud. Cinder is relatively easy to handle in terms of personality. However, an upsurge of emotion or a sudden change of environment may cause parts or the whole of his body to transform into insectile, notably akin to a carapace, resembling that of the something tissues. If you do not wish to be a rude manager, not that you're obligated to be nice, we recommend keeping your facial expression in check so that your disgust is not visible to him. He sometimes uses cynical language, but he can still be reasoned with, and you can get around him without much difficulty as long as you learn the knack of it.
그래, 양반이 뭐야,
Greg,
양반이. 이제부터
they aren't just your bud or pal, you're talking to the person who will make us filthy rich.
그래?
Greg? Rich? What's that about?
양반보다는
Let's see what's better to call you, Dante.
이름으로 부를게.
Hope you don't mind us being on a first name basis. You can call me Rodya. Too. The unfortunate traits of being Backstreet's born are apparent in this sinner. She loves money, gambling, and betting. So it is advised to pay close attention to her as the manager. She tends to deflect orders with an unimpressive wink or a silly joke. We recommend taking a stern stance at times to remind her that you are her superior. Her mood may be down at irregular intervals. There's nothing you can do to aid her in that state, so we recommend waiting for it to pass.
난 당신이 우리의
I think there's a good reason you became our manager.
분명 원래는 둥지에
I'm sure you used to be a big shot in the nest, right? When your old habits start coming back, we'll be that much closer to rolling in the dough. She sure is an extrovert, I'll give her that.
아차, 내 정신 좀 봐.
Oh gosh, look at me keeping on.
다음은 네 차례야.
Hey, kid, you're up next.
안녕하세요.
Hello?
아우, 시시.
Boring. That's it? Oh,
싱클레어라고.
Sinclair.
해요.
That's my name. Even with the volatile nature of human growth around his age taken into consideration, the simmer seems to get particularly startled or frown when spoken to. He isn't used to real combat at the moment, meaning that he may struggle to keep himself together at the sight of something as mild as split innards at first. As there may be those with violent tendencies among your crew, we recommend taking an approach focused on positive reinforcement with this sinner. He appears to possess a murderous gaze that he himself isn't aware of. This is a hopeful sign that he has the potential to grow into an expert of our company's profession with the right stimuli. This boy looks awfully unnerved. Did he even join this company of his own accord?
더 해야 할
Is
말이
there
있나요?
anything else I need to say? This is my first corporate job.
뭐 앞으로 남은
Well,
일은
you'll learn the
테니까.
ropes in the coming
그럼
days.
거기 그
Okay,
짝퉁이가
then.
다음 타자
How
하자.
about you next, nerdy pal?
이상이라 하오.
I am Isang. Isang? Formerly the youngest chief researcher at the Redacted Wing, the Sinner possesses higher intelligence compared to most others. We estimate that everyday conversation with the Sinner will prove difficult for managers selected by our current screening process. Avoiding communication altogether will pose a risk on its own. However, the Sinner remains silent for a long time. That means he is currently processing a line of deliberate thought. We recommend waiting patiently for him. All of the things are like, be patient with these ones. That's it?
이상해.
No smoke and mirrors. I waited for him to see if he was being witty or something, but he just stared vacantly out the window, disinterested.
답답하네요.
I can't believe you people. Aren't proper introductions the first step to fitting into the society?
저를 이스마일이라고 불러주세요.
Call me Ishmael, if you please. You may be disheartened by the defective state of many of your sinners, but do not worry. This sinner is one of the few who can carry out most missions without complaint. She is likely to make reasonable judgments, so it is a good idea to start conversations while looking her way if you're seeking sound advice. However, you mustn't forget, the sinner has survived an absurd voyage in a far and wide body of water. Her patience may run deep, but once you take a wrong turn with her, it will be difficult to regain her trust.
당신 덕택에 동강난
I heard you glued our bodies back together from
앞으로도 잘
pieces.
부탁해요.
I look forward to working with you. She gave a polite bow before returning to her seat. For someone who emphasized not being a misfit, she didn't feel like the most amicable sort.
미안하게 됐네.
Sorry to disappoint, because I don't care too much for fitting in.
히스클리프.
Name is
멋대로
Heathcliff.
부수고 깨부수는 일은
Used to be a professional wrecker for property and people alike. The sinner prefers to take action rather than wait for logic to dictate his course. His thoughts and feelings are blatantly visible in his demeanor, and he has no intention of hiding them. His brashness may cause headaches or physical injury leading to a headache in the process of forming a relationship. Please do note that this is not an indication of serious damage to the sinner's thought process. If his fit of rage persists, please contact the Human Resource Department. Once you realize that he is a type that tends to be simple-minded, you'll have an easier time handling it.
누가 시켜서가 아니라
Not under anyone's orders, mind you. I only did it to buggers that got on my nerves.
당신도 조심하고.
So watch it, you.
나는 윗사람이라고
I'm deathly allergic to cocky
사람은
gaffers who think they can boss me around. I don't think I've done anything to give that impression yet.
드디어 이 몸의 차례인가?
It's my turn to speak at long last. I am Don Quixote. There is no sinner that can outmatch this one's level of passion if we were to measure it. An avid aficionada of all things fixer. She adorns herself with a variety of fixer-related merchandise. They won't affect her performance in combat one way or another. so there is no need for you to restrict her from keeping her decorations. She is deeply immersed in the role of a righteous fixer, hence the exaggerated mannerisms akin to those of an actor. Has such a thing ever existed, really? It's advised to play along with her for a smooth mission.
그대와 함께
I'm a fixer who shall sprint for the dream, side by side with thee. 'Tis a pleasure. Fixer? That definitely feels like a term I used to know.
해결사 말인가?
Dost thou wish to know what a fixer is? I can answer thy question. Fixers are protectors of the city. Perchance thou mayest struggle to remember this city. 'Tis... I believe I said this was for brief introductions. Don't make me say it twice. Next. My name is Hong Lu. I hope we can get along. A sinner who has lived an affluent life before becoming our company's asset. As such, he has a certain admiration for a free life. But occasionally, he may make ignorant and unsavory questions in regards to the food cooked by a certain other sinner or other aspects of the lowly culture. This can cause significant irritation of the other sinners. However, it is important to note that no sarcastic undertones are contained in his curiosity-driven inquiries, so it is ill-advised to let them get physical over it. Wow, and look at you! Isn't that a fascinating head you got there? A popular model these days, I suppose? No, this isn't that kind of... It's not my cup of tea, though. What's wrong with you, with your attitude? Heathcliff looked to be just moments away from swinging his bat, but when he noticed the red gaze laid on him, he grunted and sat himself back down. Ryoshu! Best girl! As they say, every person has their own creed, and it's only right to respect it as the executive manager. But some creeds you will have difficulty in even simply pretending to sympathize. You will have noticed that the sinner in question is a silent chain smoker whose eyes shine with the euphoric gleam only during battle. She believes that senselessly destroying the enemy's heads is an uncultured act and a step backwards for art. Caution. The sinner's background is one that even our company may have trouble handling. It is advised against making her breed personal resentment towards you. Shure, it's nice to meet you. At what point was I supposed to laugh? Versols. Please refer to me as such. Wants clear and concise commands requiring no judgment on his part. You're polite. This isn't anything special. I'm simply behaving normal. I'm almost touched. Thank you. Or thanks. It felt as though something was gravely amiss with him, but I couldn't quite tell what. The way she scanned me up and down was a little daunting. I felt almost compelled to bow to her, but she stopped me with a motion of her head. Please, I would never make my manager stoop before me. My name is Utis. I would like to apologize for my rudeness earlier. The sinner could serve as an excellent advisor depending on your capability. However, she also has a meddlesome tendency, so it is recommended to keep her satisfied with short replies of agreement. She's an expert when it comes to tactics and various pearls of wisdom about life, making her advice all the more valuable for your mission. In addition, she possesses a vast knowledge of workshop technologies. You could trust her with simple repairs of the bus. Notice, unlike other sinners, accessing records pertaining to the past of this sinner is not permitted. Keep an eye on the sinner and beware that she does not exercise her cunning intellect for purposes other than completing our company's mission. Rudeness? Oh,
이거
please. Your magnanimity
마음마저 이렇게 넓으실 줄.
humbles me.
역시
I knew at first glance that you had what it takes to
한눈에
lead us.
알아봤습니다.
What?
인간의 대부분은
While most
서로가
humans
맡은
cause noise and
소음과
friction as a
마찰을
result of
이끌어내지만
confrontation,
그중 소수는
some are able to
마음으로써
reap mutual
서로에게
benefit
이득이
from
되는
coming
경우가
head to
있다고
head.
합니다. 검을 날카롭게 펴리기
Just
위해서는
as one
그만큼 강한
might
숫돌이
seek out
필요한
firm whetstones to best sharpen their blade.
거죠. 누구보다
And my blade is yours to wield, Executive Manager. I shall serve you with unrivaled devotion. That's reassuring. Thanks. Gave her approving nod, even though I didn't get what she meant by her rudeness.
아까 숲에서는 불쌍하게
I'm
나둔군다고
amazed at your ability to
잘도
bootlick
그런
with
말을
such
성대로
passion and so
꺼낼 수
soon
있니?
after calling them a miserable thing. I think I get it now.
제가 마지막이네요.
Seems I'm the last. Faust is the name. The sinner who developed the engine of Mephistopheles, the bus operated by Limbus Company. She claims that there is no one in the city who could rival her library of knowledge and wisdom, and she isn't necessarily wrong. You might find her high and mighty attitude when she allows you to converse with her displeasing, but as seen with how she treats everyone with subtle gestures of arrogance, there is no hope of her parting with it ever. We recommend simply nodding once and getting over it. Even though she has an unparalleled genius, we can't quite figure out how to use this one. Perhaps you could be the one to find out.
당신의 인생 중 한
A
번만
genius with whom you're lucky to cross paths even once in your life.
납득하지 못한 듯한 반응이군요.
Your reaction suggests you're not convinced, Dante.
괜찮습니다.
Well, it's fine.
경험을 통해
You'll come to learn
자세히
all in
이해할
due
수 있을
time.
거예요.
Learn what?
파우스트가
That
진보와
Faust is
천재였다는
indeed a rare and
사실을
brilliant mind.
관측자가 깨닫지
When a
못한
proverbial tree falls, its
사실이
impact on the
진실이
ground is a given
없으니까요.
fact. The observer's failure to perceive it has nothing to do with the truth of the matter. Okay.
소개는 여기까지.
That's enough greetings. Dante, let me explain your job scope. You mean as the manager?
관리자를 말하는 거냐고 묻고
They're
있어요.
asking if you're about to explain the job description of a manager. Come to think of it, the man with red eyes couldn't hear me, unlike the sinners.
맞습니다.
That's
관리자
correct,
단테.
Executive Manager Dante.
당신은 지금
You will embark on a trip
소개할
to the
여인의
Inferno
성장과
with the
함께
12 sinners who have
지옥을
introduced
지행하게
themselves. The Inferno? Why should I go to hell?
자신이 지옥으로
They're asking why they need to travel to the Inferno.
지옥의
Because
끝에
treasure waits at the end of the road.
기다리고 있습니다.
Would that suffice? I don't... You mean I used to be a treasure hunter or something? They can't seem to understand you at all.
이해를 요구한 건
I
아닙니다.
did not ask for your understanding, Dante, nor was this a question of your consent.
기억과
You'll have to
모든
listen to
걸
me
잡으시도록
if you want to reclaim your
제
memories
말을
and
들어야
original
할
head.
겁니다.
I mean, I do want them back, but
미적거리네요.
they're hesitant.
파우스트
Miss
씨,
Faust, what
단테가 계속해서
will we do if
거부하고
Dante keeps on
우리를
refusing
어떻게
to
되는지
cooperate? This is not a scenario we
거부할
anticipated.
예상은 없어.
무슨 말씀을?
Preposterous.
파우스트는
Faust anticipates
모든
every
것을
possibility.
단테,
Dante, once you've completed all your missions,
당신은
you'll be able to
삶을 새길 수
engrave
있을
the
거예요.
aspect.
제가 보증하죠.
I can promise you that. Aspect. Word that pierces through my mind. Even though my memories are gone, my underlying instinct responds strongly to it. And led by those instincts, I make my choice.
보이죠?
See, they're nodding now.
좋아.
Good, then we can
계속
continue.
가면 되겠는데, 카론,
By the way,
아까부터
Sharon,
왜 출발을 안 하고 있지? 졸았나?
why isn't the bus moving? Were you dozing off?
버스 기사는
A
졸음
bus driver only
상태에서
snoozes at rest spots, Verg.
메피 앞에
Weirdos
이상한
were
놈들이
hanging
사살하고
out,
있었어.
hanging around in front of Mephi.
카론,
I
말했잖아.
told you, Karen,
버스에 무슨 일이 생기면 곧바로
if anything happens
알려야
with the
한다니까.
bus, you've got to let me know right away. Mephi? Who's that?
메피스토펠레스. 이 버스의 이름이자
Mephistopheles.
버스를 구동하는
The name
엔진이에요.
of this bus and the engine that runs it. and
그리고
Faust Magnum Opus
파우스트의
Cordis.
심혈을 기울인 역작.
지옥을 순항하기
Most fitting ferry boat to bear us across the inferno.
그렇게 생각하지 않습니까?
Wouldn't you agree, Dante? Wasn't sure what he was getting at, so I turned away to look through the window instead of giving him a reply.
보아하니
Looks like they're just another pack of dirty rats living in the back streets.
마침 잘
This is just the right time, Dante. They should make perfect targets for practicing your commands.
처음 전투에서는
Dante, I skipped over many details during our first battle.
제대로 설명할
We were
시간이
short on time
없었으니까.
after all.
하지만 그런
However,
식으로
without
전투가
improvements to your strategic prowess, only defeat and slaughter lie in our path.
당신은 우리를
And in
살리기
turn,
위해
you'll have to
의인의
endure
고통을
pointless
느껴야
pain
하겠죠.
over and over again to revive us. Pain to revive you? You mean what happened earlier was...
네,
Yes, we were brought back to life because you turned back the clock.
우리
당장 필요한
That
사람은
exposition
아닌 듯
doesn't seem to
합니다.
be of any
파우스트
immediate
씨.
urgency, Miss Faust.
자잘한 탐소.
Save the chatter for later. Sinners, off the bus.
전투에 대한 설명을 이어가죠.
Allow me to elaborate on the elements of combat. Even though we don't really need to, we will go through all the tutorials. These 7-sided icons float above both the allies' and enemies' head are called skill slots. Because you haven't issued a command by chaining skills yet, the allied skill slots are currently empty. Grab the chain from the left gear and chain it to one of the two leftmost skills on the dashboard. Grabbing the chain from the left gear and the chain to one of the two leftmost skills on the dashboard. Oh. Equipped skills are displayed on the skill slot floating above each sinner's head. When the combat phase begins, each sinner will engage in battle using the skill equipped in their skill slots. Well done. Now select the gear on the right to issue your command, and the sinners will enter the combat phase, using the skills you've equipped for them.
톱들을 제거하겠소.
Now, please issue a command.
좋아, 간다.
A clash occurs when the sinner and their target both use attack skills against each other. In a clash, their power is determined primarily by the skill they are using to clash. And in this clash between two skills, the skill with the highest power wins. Pay attention to the enemy's coins. When a skill loses a clash, it will lose a coin. Even if a skill loses a clash, as long as it has remaining skill coins, the two skills will continue to flip their coins and clash until one of them loses all coins. The skill that lost all of his coins in this clash will conclusively lose the clash. This means that the unit that won the clash gets to attack, while the unit that lost does not. Let's see how power, which determines the outcome of a clash, is calculated. Please issue a command.
좋아, 간다.
This number is the skill's base power before it flips any coins. The number is the skill's coin power. You can see how many coins the skills have. The number of coins determine two things: how many times the skills can lose a clash before losing all of its coins, how many times the skill hits when it attacks. Each coin that flips heads will add the coin power of that skill to the base power of that same skill. Yeah, so 3 with 1, and then it's plus 4, so it's 7. 2 is plus 4 again. Formula for a skill's final power is as follows. Base power plus number of coins that flipped heads times coin power. Coins that flipped heads will glow, while coins that flipped tails will appear dim. The resultant skill power is displayed here. Ishmael's loggerhead skill has the higher skill power, so the enemy skill loses a coin. As seen in this example, they will continue to clash until one of them has no more coins left to flip. The unit with remaining coins ultimately wins that clash. Remember, winning clashes is one of the most fundamental aspects of winning the battle.
꺼냈다. 맛있는 거 준비해줘, 단테.
폭들을 제거하겠소.
꺼냈다. 맛있는 거 준비해줘, 단테.
We did it! Victory! Victory! Free battle. Hit the road. Hit the road, Jack.
아까보다는 쓸만해 보이는군요.
You're looking much more useful than before, Dante. They all got away, save for one, though. Shouldn't we go after them?
놓친 적을 걱정하네요.
They're worried over the foes we lost.
걱정할 건 없습니다.
No need for concern. That's the direction we're heading anyway. Garen,
발판을 꽂고
pedal to the metal. Up for an exciting ride. This time, let us learn about SP, or sanity points. SP has a maximum value of 45 and a minimum value of 45. Please note that the sinner's sanity point values can be viewed here. Next to the orbs adjacent to the portrait icon. These orbs adjacent to the portrait icons on the dashboard.
금방 다녀올게.
Each unit's sanity point value change based on certain triggers. They tend to heal SP with favorable triggers, winning clashes or killing enemies, and lose SP with unfavorable triggers. The higher the unit's SP value, the higher the chance to flip heads when flipping coins, skill coins. Allied units all won their respective clashes in the previous turn, which healed their SP. This puts us in a favorable position. Please issue your next command.
금방 다녀올게.
Please direct your attention to this unit's health points. Health point bar. This thin line here is called the stagger threshold. When a unit's HP drops below the stagger threshold line, they become staggered. Staggered units cannot take any actions and take double the damage, which puts them at a significant disadvantage in battle.
좋은 전략이네요. 가보죠.
So we just mow them up. You have put the remaining enemies in panic states by defeating their allies in the previous turn, which drop their SP. When an enemy's SP drops below a certain threshold, they may enter low morale or panic states, which inflicts them with negative effects. Units in low morale or panic states are marked by these labels. Each unit gains different effects from entering low morale and panic states. Select this icon to learn what effects this unit is suffering from. Does not act as true.
폭들을 제거하겠소. 폭의 거울은 깨졌소.
손쉽구만.
잠시만요.
Give me a second.
뭐죠?
What is it?
저는
I joined this company because I was told that I'll be able to move forward without being held back.
그런데 지금은
But right now, we're stuck in meaningless violence, like we're rats or something.
의미가 없진 않소.
'Tis not without meaning. We are vanquishing evildoers who attacked us.
시끄러워요. 좀
Please,
조용히 좀
just
해봐요.
be quiet for a moment.
아무튼
Anyway, if all we're doing is beating up people like some hired thugs, I might have to reconsider my employment here in the near future.
입사 계약서를
Haven't you read your contract?
회사는
Resignation is not permitted.
계약하면서
You
말한
really think our
이야기가
contract has any
거짓말이라도
sway at this
그
point,
계약이 효력이
given
있을
that
거라
it's based
생각하는
on
건가요?
lies?
당연히 효력이
Of
있죠.
course it does.
애초에 거짓말은
Because there were no
없었으니까.
lies to begin with. Huh?
네? 설마 제가
You didn't think Mistopheles was built to be a mere means of transportation, did you?
루피는 항상 배고프다.
Mephi is always hungry. It keeps crying. The bus gets hungry?
엔진이 연료를
When the
섭취할 때
engine
생기는
ingests
부산.
fuel, it yields a byproduct.
여러분은 그걸 통해
Using that,
강해질 수
you can
있어요.
grow more powerful.
이상 씨는
I'm
계시겠죠?
sure Yi Sang knows this
거울
well.
속에서
When all
모든
possibilities are
가능성을
drawn from the
쫓아낸다면
mirror,
성장 또한
there is
제약이
no
없어.
limits to one's growth.
거울 속에 나는 나인가 아니면
Is the
또
self in the
누군가?
mirror my reflection or another being entirely? Possibilities? What exactly are you drawing out?
그렇군요.
I see.
걸
So
의미했던
this
건가요?
is what that was about.
너무 마음이 급할
There's
필요는
no need to
없어요.
get impatient, Ismail.
버스가 향하는
As the bus
자연은
makes its journey, you'll naturally
자연이 시정
start taking on more important tasks that beat the life out of random crooks.
목표에 도달하는 게
I know you're eager to achieve your goals, but at least try to have some patience.
거울 세계에 있는 우리들의 모든
Since this
가능성 중
work
하나를
Works by
끄집어내면
whisking out one of our limitless possibilities from the mirror worlds. It'll have overwritten a part of our memories.
곧 익숙해질 거예요.
You'll get used to it in no time.
뭐야?
Oh,
그거
hang
좀
on.
위험해 보이는데?
That sounds a bit dangerous, doesn't it?
이러다가 내가 아니게 되는
What if
거
I'm
아니야?
no longer my old self by the end?
여러분은 테세우스의
Don't mistake
기사는
yourselves for the ship of Theseus.
인격과
While it
기억을
is true that
분리하지
you
않아요.
borrow the identities
주도권을
and their
잃고
memories,
소비되어 있지는 않아요.
the system is designed to ensure that you retain control over your own existence.
거울에 비추는 나는 사뭇 다를 수
Different
있으나
through your reflection.
거울 밖을
Different
벗어나
though your reflection may
속의
be,
형체도
it is bound to vanish once you walk away from the mirror.
저희가 어떻게 성장할지는
How our capabilities grow ultimately depends on you, Manager Dante.
거울 세계의
It will
다양한
be up to
가능성을
you to decide which figment of possibility fits each situation best.
메타몰프시스를 말하는 건가?
I believe that's what you call a metamorphosis.
네,
Yes, I suppose one could say that is a form of renaissance and transformation.
어머? 그런
Ollie, where did you learn
어려운
big
단어를
words like that?
주워들었다.
I picked it up. My prior profession required meeting people from various walks of life.
변신이라.
Transformation, huh?
담소는 끝났나?
Done chatting?
일단
First, we make way for the bus. You'll spend more time together than you'll ever ask for, so table that discussion for later. Here we go, more story. Select a unit to view their detailed
뭐야?
information window.
내가 보고 싶었던 거야?
This is where you view each character's basic stats. This is where you view that unit's list of skills and upgrade progress. You also select an enemy to view their detailed information. Each unit has resistance values. These are the values to determine what attack type or affinity they are weak against. Weak against slashing, and normal for everything else. Each skill's damage is classified by 2 categories: 3 attack types and 7 affinity types. The target's resistance to these categories can either increase or reduce the damage dealt. Higher resistance value on a unit means they will take more damage from that damage type. Check your enemy's weaknesses and select the skills that can exploit them to deal more damage. So slashes, I assume these are all the same, I think, except maybe this guy. Nope, they're all the same. So it actually doesn't matter.
그 누구도 볼 수 없게.
In most cases, the unit with the leftmost skill on the dashboard will be the first to act among allies. Starting from the allied unit highest on the deployment order, an ally gains 1 additional slot for every passing turn. This means that they gain an extra opportunity to attack.
금방 다녀올게.
기다려. 제가 하는 거 맞죠? 다음은 침묵을 안겨드리죠.
Use one of these buttons to let the sinners choose what skill they want to use. However, it must be emphasized that leaving the sinners to make their own strategic choices could lead to suboptimal combat performance. The clash outcome forecast appeared at the top of the screen and besides each selected skill. Please note that the forecast is not always perfect, but it is serviceable when quick decisions are necessary. So yeah, win rate prioritizes dominating assessments. Then I assume damage prioritizes damage.
폭들을 제거하겠어.
If we only have one clash, we would choose damage because we don't really need
폭의 거울은
buying control over anything.
해냈어요. 제가 해냈어요.
Post battle.
길이 열렸어. 하지만
Road's clear, but Mephi could have just run them over and pushed through just fine. Huh? What was the point of putting me through all that fighting then? Vergilius steps in at the side of my rattling head and agitated gestures.
진정하시죠, 단테.
Calm yourself, Dante.
걸음마도 떼지 못한 아이에게 달리기를 시킬 순 없지 않겠습니까?
It's not right to ask a toddler to run when he has yet to finish its first steps.
걸어볼 기회가 있다면 직접 걷고 나서 달리시죠.
Best take every opportunity there is to walk on your own feet before you're made to run.
그리고 단테.
Furthermore, Dante,
당신은 관리자.
as the manager,
관리를 하는 게 업무입니다.
your job is to manage your staff.
나는
I am the guide.
어디를 가고
I
어떻게
decide the where and the how of our journey.
내가 알겠습니까?
Am I understood?
토달지 말라고.
Don't argue with me. How am I supposed to not question a stranger who can't even hear me?
째깍거리긴 하는데 뭐라고 하는 거지?
I heard ticking. What did they say, Miss Faust?
별말 없었습니다.
Nothing much.
긍정을 성대하기도 하는군.
A little too verbose to be an affirmation.
끄덕여도
A
좋습니다.
nod should suffice going forward, Dante.
그럼 메피 출발하자. 야호.
Now, Mephi, off we go. Woohoo!
결혼 기분이 어때?
How are you feeling, Karen? Caron?
매우
Extreme excitement.
것 같습니다.
About to walk on air, reports Caron.
좋아.
Good. So, where are we going?
베르길리우스, 그가 목적지를 묻습니다.
Virgilius. They like to know the destination.
말했던 것 같습니다.
What did I just tell you, Dante? But just where are we going? But with his sigh, the bus shuddered and started to rumble.
출발할게. 부릉부릉.
지옥으로 출발하지.
Not a destination Inferno. I walked down a path leading to Limbus Company. Face the sin, save the ego. All right. We're done with the prologue. So, number one.
베르.
Verg.
앞에 장애물이 있어.
Lock it ahead.
부릉부릉.
Permission to vroom vroom. The chatter was what finally got me to open my eyes. After all, nothing beats blocking out your sight when you want to keep boredom at bay. Not that there was much else to do on a bus whose destination was unknown to me. My lack of head and memories certainly didn't help either.
그래. 계속 지나가자고.
Alright, let's proceed.
덜컹덜컹.
Okay, here comes bumpity bumps.
비싼 세정제야. 베르가 큰맘 먹었다고 그랬어.
Expensive washer fluid. Verge said he paid a fortune. Clumps stuck to the windows gently dissolve, letting light through. Most of the people seated on the bus, sinners, fixed their gaze ahead with varied expressions in their eyes. It felt like a pretty gruesome scene, but based on the others' reactions. Maybe this kind of violence is to be expected in the city. Hey. It felt rather awkward to try to get another shot. more shut eye. Now that I was wide awake. Just then, a man with conspicuously overgrown stubble drew my attention. But I mean, glasses. Know where we're going right now? A feature far more conspicuous than a stubble made me slip.
방금
You almost called me bug guy, didn't you?
다시 한번 말하자면
Once again, my name is Gregor.
당신이 시계
Same way you're called Dante and not Clockface. Couldn't find any excuse, so I just gave back a light nod.
어이, 기사 양반.
Say, bus girly, where are we headed?
다시 한번 말하자면
Once
내
again,
이름은
my name is Caron.
당신이 벌레 양반이 아니라 그레고르.
Same way you're called Gregor and not Bug Guy. She got you there, Gregor. She really did.
베르가 말했어.
Berg said,
수감자들은
the sinners will go to District 4. What? Oh! Did the name District 4 fall upon my ears? That place is known to be the home of the Grass Maiden. 'Tis the origin of the heroine's journey, and 'twas the... Bloody hell, you're rattling on and on and on. Can't you just shut up and let us have some peace and quiet? Why? I had remained silent until mere moments ago. Don't you bloody argue with me.
이봐요.
Hey, do you even realize you're the louder one here? Last, pain is pain, whether it kills you or not. Now flap that gob of yours again and see what happens.
옳은 말을 했는데도 돌아오는
I
게
make a valid point. And you jump straight to violence? Real classy of you. Ugh. For a moment I found myself contemplating. Should I step in? Is this the part where I exercise my authority as a manager with dignity and grace? A faint memory urges me to do something. Now, guys, it's inadvisable to lose your...
모분초도.
trenches.
모가지를 분질러야 조용해지지.
To ride against noisy crying hogs entails scragging.
이유 없는 폭력은 용서받을 수 없다네. 그대는 내가
Senseless violence shan't be forgiven. I will bring about justice.
아, 이럴 줄 알았어.
I knew this would happen. You got blood on my clothes. Look, do you guys really have to fight next to me? This is just crazy. We haven't even reached our destination and 3 people are dead already, and all because of infighting too? Can't even look away for a minute without things going sideways, can I? You 4, pleading duty for the next month. Such unfairness. I merely sought the hand of justice. Hang on, tell them to do my laundry too. Bloodstains don't wash off as easily as wine. It wasn't cheap, you know, this getup. No one bats an eye at the lifeless janitors to be littering the floor. Maybe they're already taking their unlimited revivals for granted. Problem is, I don't even know exactly how exactly I'm supposed to bring them back.
단테, 시계를 돌려주시겠습니까?
Dante, I'd like you to turn the clock back. Turn the clock?
그런 모양새면
That's what you look like when you're puzzled. I'll keep that in.
파우스트 씨,
Miss Faust? Vergilius gives Faust a tired nod and gestures to me. She lets out a small sigh, but still came to my seat, probably out of a sense of
처음
obligation.
만났던 날에도 당신이 했던 일을 말하는 거예요, 단테.
The same thing you did the day we first met, Dante. Though I suppose that was more of an instinctive reaction.
자,
Now let's try again. Close your eyes. Though I have no eyes to close, blinking out my sight is something I've done. I had no reason to follow Faust's instructions here.
사실 문은 어디에나 있어요.
In fact, the door is everywhere.
그러나 당신에게만 보이죠.
However, only you can see it.
왜냐하면
For the stars in
당신의
your
하늘은
sky
달이
have not
지지
fallen.
않았으니까.
At that, I felt a sliver of light easing into my sight. Let it come to me the same way I'd opened my eyes. And then an expanse of space laid itself out ahead. There I was alone, with a massive door that stood before me. It wasn't a pleasant sight. Waves of suffocating heat and cries of agony escaped through the gap. My mind almost blacks out at the sound of the incessant lamentations and wailing. However, I find myself approaching the door still, grasping at its handles as if it's the most natural thing to do. Despite appearing rather ponderous, the door opens without much resistance. I run my hand along the inside of the door. Thousands upon thousands of cacophonous wailings lie within. And reaching further inside, I grab a few outstretched hands. I can feel the histories of different sins, each bearing a brand of its own, crawling along my hand and up my arm.
고통을 나눌 준비가
Art thou prepared to share the pain? Could that have been a question? Or rather, pressure to comply? With all my strength, I yank out the sinners clinging to my hand from the door. Ah! A terrible pain spreads through my neck and head. A torture so unbearable I'd have taken death over it, and it refused to let up. The sensation of bones and muscles twisting and entangling with each other goes on for what feels like an eternity. My untrained legs buckle under the unbearable pain, and I drop to my knees. Hey, Ham. Thanks for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. Collecting more users, or more players is what I mean to say. I drop to my knees onto the pool of blood, and then I see it. The vibrating surface of the red, vicious liquid bubbling and spattering as the pain grows even worse. Soon, the blood soaking the ground coagulated and fused into 3 separate masses. Then the pain seemed to go on forever. That seemed to go on forever disappeared, just like that. As the lumps of blood rose into the air and flew off, the terrible red haze cleared from my vision, and I was once again returned to the rumbling bus. Ugh. What's it like coming back from a decapitation? Did your heart race? As soon as Heathcliff comes to, he rubs his neck, hisses out a few curses, and stomps towards Ryoshu. Hold on, I just brought you back and you're going straight into another fight? Heathcliff whips around to glare at me, eyes blinded with fury. It's your job to bring us back anyway, isn't it? If that's done, then piss off before I smash in that bloody clock you call a head.
잠깐만요.
Please, wait. Dante, looks like they're in a lot of pain. We really should stop. Heathcliff does not wait for Sinclair to finish his speech, and slams his steel bat into the young man's skull. The bus filled with Sinclair's choking, unintelligible gurgles as he lay dying. Next time, Clockface, it'll be your noggin getting bashed. That clear enough?
정말 생긴 대로라더니
Because you really are as much of a scumbag as you look. Dying once not enough for you? Cliff tightens his grip on his back while Ismail readies her to swing her mace. How did I end up managing a bunch of people who stay the same wrecks even after literally coming back from death? As my mind wandered, a sinister chill swept in and froze the tension in the bus into total silence.
이거 아무래도 제대로
아.
교정해야겠어.
It seems we are overdue for some proper discipline. The sinners who'd been seconds away from jumping at each other's throat came to an immediate standstill. As a pair of eyes raked over them with a freezing, merciless glare.
첫 번째 규칙.
Rule number 1. Do not let me hear weapons clashing inside the bus.
이 순간 이후로
Any of you break this rule from this moment on,
너희는 내게
you will be
제발
begging me to
죽여달라고
kill you before I'm done.
명하게 될 난 충분히 그럴 수 있는
I'm sure you're aware that I am capable of far more than just that, yes? Sinclair's death throes were the only sound that broke the silence. Heathcliff glowered at Virgilius, but didn't dare argue back.
미안하게
Apologies,
됐습니다.
Dante. I need you to rewind the
시계를 한
clock
번만 더
again.
돌려주시죠.
Again? I quickly shook my head. There is no way I was putting myself through that again. It hurt so much that death seemed downright merciful. The ghost of a smile on Virgilius's face evaporated as his expression hardened.
내가 아직 사과와
Best
부탁을
open that
하고
door while I'm
있을
still
때
feeling generous enough to
너희는
ask you
좋을
nicely,
텐데.
Manager Dante.
빨리.
Oh, and if it's the pain that you fear, if that is why you are shaking your head, I will gladly help you with that. The agony of rewinding won't even make you bat an eye once I'm finished. A surefire way to boost your pain tolerance, don't you think?
내가 잘못 들은 건가?
Did I hear you correctly? Our manager clearly declined your request.
당신
You.
끼어드는
This
박자가
interruption is ill-timed.
입사할 때
I was informed when I joined the company that the executive manager would be my superior, not you.
관리자께서 고개를 저었다.
I would say that the manager has made themselves perfectly clear by shaking their head.
그래.
I see.
보좌관께서
So the aide has decided to step in now. Is that it?
그렇다면 보좌관께
Then let me make myself perfectly clear to you as well. Virgilius' eyes turned a deeper shade of red, sharpening that bone-cold stare. I don't really know what I'm meant to do as the manager, or if I even deserve to take this role. But I felt that I should at least stop things from spiraling into an even bigger mess. Bringing back one sinner should hurt less than reviving all 12 at once. Otis, I'll rewind the clock. It's okay. Virgilius caught me frantically gesturing for Otis to stand down, and the red gleam in his eyes faded.
잘 생각하셨군.
A wise decision. As you say, as you wish, executive manager. Otis looked like she had more to say, but quickly backed off and snapped into attention. The red door greeted me again, bringing with it the sickening sensation of my bones and muscles churning and contorting against one another. I decided to stop describing the pain to myself going forward. It's not the sort of torture I could ever put a name on anyway. Thank you. Sinclair stood up with a pained moan and bowed in appreciation before tottering back to his seat. Oh. So we're going through Limbus Company again. I've been through this story once, but it's been a few years, so I am starting from the beginning and going through all of the story again to remember what went on. And yeah, it's a very unique and violent game, which is obviously not for everyone.
저기 질문이 있네.
Prithee, I have a matter to inquire. Don Quixote suddenly raised her hand. Inquire.
첫 번째 규칙은 이해가
Verily, I understood the first rule well, What then is the second rule? Good grief.
왜 굳이 나서
Did you really have to go out of your way to ask? Virgilius shot a cold stare at Ryoshu, who had just lit a cigarette. She returned the look with an unreadable expression on her
두
face.
번째 규칙.
Rule number 2.
버스 바닥에
No littering cigarette
담배
butts on the
꽁초
bus.
버리지 마.
They leave burn marks. The bus falls silent again.
잠깐.
Hold on, the bus shouldn't be this quiet. Where's the engine's roar?
카론,
Karon,
왜 속도를
why aren't you
내는
speeding
거지?
up?
밥이 없어.
No food. Mephi is hungry.
잘 됐군.
Good, we could use something to lift the mood. Could he be suggesting a fuel stop? The idea of Virgilius casually plugging a fuel nozzle in the bus like some normal person at a pump felt strangely out of place.
차가 움직이려면
A vehicle needs fuel to run.
카론,
Karon, try flashing the headlights a bit, like stage lights.
모두
댄스 타임이야.
It's Densi time.
잠깐. 헤드라이트까지 켜면
Wait a
스펙업이
minute.
딱 좋은
That's like an
상황이잖아.
open invitation for highwaymen to come rob us.
그걸 노린 거군.
That appears to be the intent.
응?
Alright. Thanks, Ham. Alright, Nightfup. See you tonight if you are coming back for Pandora's Tower. Sorry. Sorry. Bye. Sorry? Alright, sounds good. I could hear someone pounding against the bus's steel plating outside. Oi. Leave all your stuff behind and get off. You got 30 seconds. 10. 9. Yeah, you skipped 20 seconds. Then 20 seconds for you to say your prayers.
왜 이렇게
Why am I surrounded by dullards left and right? What did you just say?
비겁하게 습격을
How
하다니.
cowardly of them to ambush us thus. Verily, they must be villains villains without a shred of doubt.
자, 다들
Alright,
들어요.
everyone off.
그리고 말이야.
And one more thing, we want them half dead. Not dead, clear? Here we go. Select 2 battle to begin the encounter with the currently deployed sinners.
흥미로운 일이 벌어지면 좋겠어요.
Chaining multiple skills with the same affinity color in the same turn will activate what is known as resonance. Connect these skills with the same affinities and activate resonance. Chaining 2 or more skills with the same affinity in the same turn will activate what is known as resonance.
해보기는 할게요. 안 되면 어쩔 수 없지만요.
순조로운
다음 판단을 부탁합니다.
지금이 기회입니다.
Chaining 3 or more adjacent skills with the same affinity activates absolute resonance. Try activating absolute resonance with using these skills. Chaining 3 or more adjacent skills with the same affinity at the same turn will activate what is known as absolute resonance. Activating resonance slightly enhances affected skills based on the number of skills linked in the resonance chain. Skills closer to the right end of the dashboard receive far greater boosts. Activating absolute resonance guarantees that every skill in the resonance chain receives a boost.
해보기는 할게요. 안 되면
좋은 전략인가요? 좋은 전략입니다.
Each unit has a unique passive. Select Faust to
무슨
view
일인가요, 관리자님?
passive skill passives. Faust passive is a resonance passive. The conditionals for these passives can be met by activating resonance that was explained earlier. Use activate the resonance passive by activating resonance for the necessary infinity. Faust passive requires 2 or more pride indigo resonance.
행동을 개시합니다.
좋은 전략입니다.
늘 새롭다니까요.
좋은 전략입니다.
지금이 기회입니다.
Let us take a look at a different type of passive. These icons on the top left corner of the screen also show the list of available passives. Select Mersault icon here. Cinder Mersault passive is an owned passive. Owned passives activate automatically each turn provided you have enough ego resources to meet the requirement. Less than 50% gain 1 protection at the start of the combat phase. We have enough here. This passive requires that you own 2 sloth yellow resources. Use a skill to gain an ego resource corresponding to that skill's affinity. Viewable here. Since we gathered enough sloth ego resource in the previous turn, this own passive is already activated. Currently active passives will be highlighted. Sinners that have been sufficiently upgraded can assist the deployed sinner through their support passives. Support passives, like regular passives, have resonance and own conditions.
명령대로 하겠습니다. 좋은 전략입니다.
Easy peasy.
관리자님의 99% 명령과 1%의 제 실력이 합쳐진 결과였습니다.
Oh, Utis, you did basically all the damage. Wait. Oh, there's only pre-battle story for that. Okay. Only pre-battle for this one as well. A deep guttural rumble erupts as the side of the bus heaves and splits open. A number of human shapes litter the ground before the bust's gaping maw. Some still conscious, others no longer in one piece. The maw then stretched even wider and, for lack of a better word, started chewing through the bodies. Every bite came fast and voracious. Ryoshu took in the spectacle with clear satisfaction, as though determined to savor every moment of it. Off to the side, Sinclair looked visibly shaken. Everyone here is so... We're surrounded by insane people. You think so too, don't you? The way he reacted made me wonder the history the sinner carried. Just to make sure, none of you were forced to join, right? Whatever happened before my head got replaced with a clock is a complete mystery. But as far as I can tell, I was basically forced into the company. And maybe they're not so different from me, or so I thought, until... Sinclair bowed his head as if I'd hit a raw nerve. That's right. This was my choice. I'll get used to all this, won't I? He was muttering under his breath like he wasn't talking to me at all. Tis the deed I would have done even if this company sought me not. Lo, yon host of evil draweth nigh. Select battle to employ this.
이게 끌 거 없어. 바로 간다.
In addition to attack skills, each unit also has defense skills. Use the guard skill to gain shield equal to its power. Damage will be absorbed by the shield first before affecting the unit's HP. When using an evade skill, if its final power is greater than or equal to that of the enemy skill, the unit will completely ignore the enemy's attack, taking no damage from it. Evade skills flip their coin once for every enemy coin flip. Warning: if an evade type defense skill's final power is lower than the enemy's attack, it will fail and the enemy's attack will strike with full force. Counter skills allow the enemy to strike first, then perform an unopposed attack against the attacker. Warning: if the unit is staggered by the enemy's attack, the counter will not activate. Let's demonstrate the effect of each defense skill in battle.
행동을 개시합니다.
When used under the right circumstances, defense skills can be even more effective than clashing or attacking enemies. However, poorly timed use of these skills can put the sinners at great risk. Also note that sinners will not select their defense skills unless you personally issue a direct command. Keep this in mind when using the auto attack skill chaining functions.
행동을 개시합니다.
And there's basically no reason to use them most of the time.
규정에 따라 실행합니다. 규정에 따라 실행합니다. 다음 판단을 부탁합니다.
어떠냐?
규정대로
당연한 결과죠.
쉽네.
There we go. Death. Death and destruction rain down on you.
보여? 마구잡이로 때려 부숴놨지.
Free battle.
배부르게 밥을 먹은 지가 언제더라. 기계 덩어리 팔자가 더 낫네.
Seriously, when was the last time I actually got to stuff myself? I swear this lump of metal is eating better than we do.
제공되는 식사는 모두 정량이에요.
Do mind that all meals are proportioned for appropriate amounts. Inappropriate
그
amounts.
정도 먹어서는 기운이 안 난단
It's
말이야.
nowhere near enough to get me going. I thought I heard Heathcliff shouting, "You think I'm doing this on a full stomach?" in the distance, but Rhodia seemed to pretend she heard nothing. Speaking of, does this bus run on stuff like blood or protein?
엔케팔린이에요.
It's Inkenfelin,
로보토미 코퍼레이션에서
an energy source extracted by a lobotomy corporation.
이전 엘사 말이군요.
The previous L-Corp, right? I heard it used its singularity to produce energy.
엘사가 몰락한 지금은
Though now that the wing's fallen, all that's left is rubble. Is its rubble?
맞아요.
Correct.
그래서 지금은
Which
그렇게
is why it's
보입니다.
become a rarity these days.
하지만
However,
메피스토펠레스는 신체에서
Mephistopheles is
엔케팔린을
capable of
강제로
forcibly extracting Enkephilin from the body. The body? I cannot help but fixate on the word as I look back and forth between chewing maw of the bus and Utis. who is barking orders at the other sinners.
네. 엔케팔린은
Yes,
뇌와
Enkenfelin
특수
can
시간에서만
only be
주체돼요.
extracted from the brain and the
특히나
spinal
생명
nerves.
활동이 있을수록
It can be
필요한
harvested
기술이죠.
from live subjects at greater efficiency. So that's why Virgilius told the sinners not to kill the assailants. Okay, then.
그럼 해당
One
부위만
might
먹어도
ask,
되는 거 아니야?
then why feed the whole body? The
피와
answer is
근육도
simply
연료로 쓸 수
that their
있어요.
blood and muscle tissue can also be processed into fuel.
엔케팔린이 시동과
While
추적을
Enkenfelin
위해서
is used to
필요하잖아.
generate an ignition and thrust, the leftover organic matter is used to sustain velocity, which in turn
되도록 천천히
reduces the
소모되게
bus's
하기 위한 상태죠.
Enkenfelin demand.
하이브리드요.
Hybrid. It also went on to explain how most of the vehicle's fuel is taken from the branch facilities, and that harvesting Enkenfelin from human bodies won't be sufficient in the long run. Most of it went straight over my head, though. Well, that's complicated, but I get that you're in for some tough work.
뭘요?
Not at all.
파우스트는
No
고생하지
work is
않는
tough for
겁니다.
Faust.
고생은 우리가 하고
If
있지.
anyone's doing the heavy lifting, it'd be us. Hey, manager bud, more imment coming. Enkenfelin. Oops, I just
배부르게 밥을 먹은 지가 언제더라.
replayed the story that I didn't need to replay. We can now use our identities.
불청객을 맞이할 시간.
의뢰.
시간 체납자인가?
오늘은 시간을 얼마나 뜯으려나?
징수하겠네.
Adjusting density of information on screen during combat. At the top right of the in-battle screen, there's a button that adjusts the amount of information displayed. There are three options to set the display setting density to minimum, medium, or maximum, respectively. The maximum information display configuration. The maximum information display configuration. This is the default setting applied when first starting the game. More information is shown compared to the other two settings. Details on keywords used in skills are shown as well. The medium information display configuration. In this setting, details on keywords used in skills will not be shown. Otherwise, function is the same as the max settings. Minimum information display configuration. In this setting, information on effects and keywords of skills will not be displayed. I don't know why you would do. No, I mean, it doesn't really matter. We don't have any choices. We just go. We're just gonna destroy everything pretty quickly because these are stronger than.
이 싸움을 끝내주겠어.
얼마 안 걸릴 거야.
But the initial battles are not the point, anyways.
찔렀을 뿐.
Just to play through the story. Not to make it necessarily challenging, just not too incredibly easy. Fury.
어이, 적당히 끝나.
Hey, that's enough of that. Our guests will be here any moment. Virgilius said, poking his hand out the window. Yes, who?
처음으로 가는
I have
던전이니까.
determined that we will need a guide, as this is our first trip to a dungeon.
저 혹시
Excuse
림버스
me,
컴퍼니에서 오신 분들
are you the
맞나요?
people from Limbus Company? Someone approaches us with apparent hesitation.
맞나 보네요.
You sure look like it. Buzz had just about finished his meal when the crunching down on the last bits of bone. And was crunching down on the last bits of bone. Yuri watched it indifferently before introducing herself.
예전 엘사에서 근무했던
I'm Yuri, a former employee of the previous L Corp. I look forward to working with you. Previous L Corp? You mean
로보토미
has to be Lobotomy Corporation.
네,
Correct.
우리는 로보토미
We will
코퍼레이션.
move on to explore the former
그
branch
회사의
facilities of
지부들을
Lobotomy
향합니다.
Corporation. That is the fallen L Corp.
저라면 불러도 절대 안 왔을 것 같은데.
I wouldn't have taken this job if I were you. Even if someone specifically requested me.
추락한
I
날개라니.
doubt the end of your employment
분명 끝이
here
좋지 않았을
left
텐데요.
any pleasant memories. At being a fallen wing and all.
무슨 소리야?
What are you on
날개고
about?
뭐고
Fallen wing or not, a huge
똥망이라면
payday will
뭐든
turn
유쾌한
any
기억이
brutal work
된다고.
into a charming memory.
거기는 아직도
I heard those
괴물로
facilities are
대체된다는
crawling with
소문이
monsters, even now.
괴물이 아니라 환상이에요.
Not monsters. Abnormalities.
사실이에요.
Regardless, what you said
하지만
is
더
true.
중요한 것들이 있죠.
But it is also home to more important things than those entities.
지부 가장 깊숙한
It is
곳에
the deepest zone of these
최근에
branch
피어나기
facilities
시작한
that are
의사의
plant-like
기술의 핵심
growths
정수가
that have
존재해요.
only recently begun to form in the essence of L Corp's technology.
단테,
Dante,
며칠
if
전에
you
내가
remember what I
제안했던
said a
걸
few days back,
기억합니까?
I offered you the chance to eventually
성의를
engrave
새겨줄 거라고.
your aspect.
정수,
Once this
황금
essence,
가지를 모아온다면
the golden bow, is
그 정도는
retrieved,
어려운
it'll be
일도
easy
아니게
as
될
pie.
겁니다.
Hearing the word aspect still made my head ache. What exactly was I trying to do?
억지로 떠올리려고 할 필요는 없습니다.
There's no need to rouse your brain trying to remember what you can't.
전부 알게
It'll all
될
come
테니까요.
back in due time. I returned a slow nod to Faust's placid advice. Alright, for now I should focus on what my present self is able to process. And if it's Lobotomy Corp we're scouring, we might come across some Enkenfellen too.
아,
Oh, does that mean we won't have to feed more people to our vehicle?
거기다가 운이
We could
좋으면
also grab some ego
애고까지
if we're
얻을
lucky.
테니.
So that's 3 rats with 1 stone. Ego? That's another unknown term that makes me tilt my head. But in any case, it seemed rather rude to keep talking to each other when we had a guest on board. And apparently, I wasn't the only one who thought so.
유리 씨는
So, Miss Yuri, what have you been up to after L Corp? Gregor flashed what looked like his best attempt at a kind smile at our new passenger, hoping to strike up a conversation. Corners of his eyes twitched from forcing a facial expression he obviously wasn't used to, but I pretended not to notice.
내가 보아하니 그대는
It appears to me that thou art an honorable fixer. It is said that all fixers exude the noble scent of heroes. As Yuri gave a slight nod, I heard Ishmael release a deep sigh. I don't know who gave you that idea, but fixers are anything but noble or heroic. The only scent you'll smell is the miserable stink of wage slaves.
금세 다른 밥벌이를 찾는 게 쉽진 않았을
It couldn't have been easy to find another job so soon. Good that you're holding up.
아직은 계약.
For now, I'm just a contract worker.
아하.
That explains why you decided to come crawling back here.
예전 직장으로 돌아가서
Did they promise
크게
you a
한 탕이라도
team leader
치우면
position or something in exchange
칭찬자리를
for a major
주겠대요.
find in what's left of your previous workplace?
실적을 세우면
My contracts might get
계약
extended
기간은
if I return
늘어나죠.
with results.
그렇지.
Right.
어떤 계약직 시절은
Strong
실적 안에
performance
목숨을
becomes
걸어야
a
되니까.
life or death matter if you're aiming for a permanent spot.
아, 그거 참 부질없는 목숨이네요.
And what a pointless life that is.
어이, 아까부터 왜 이렇게 비꼬는 거야? 뭐가
It's a lot of sarcasm. You grinding? Something grinding your gears?
글쎄요.
I don't know. Every single thing I'm hearing right now is getting on my nerves. Seemingly unaffected by the abrasive attitude, Yuri quietly took an empty seat. Glancing between the two of them, Gregor returned to his seat as well, scratching his head. I don't think I'll ever get used to being around these people.
빨리 배어드는 편이 편할
You'll want to
거다,
fit in fast
Dante.
if you want to make your job easier, Dante.
가론,
Caron, time to go. Our
손님께서
guest has
자리에
taken her seat.
앉았다.
메피 배.
Mephi's tongue revived.
카론도 빵.
Caron running to drive. Should any of these need this wants negative these two want negative SP.
현 시간부로
We'll just
근무
keep this for
시작.
now.
좋아. 얼른 끝내고 밥 먹으러 가자고.
겁나를 내게 바쳐주지. 훌륭한
이외에 특별히 첨언할 일도
불청객은 찌그럽게 대받지 않은 것.
와,
모조리
엄청난
치워버려.
공격이었어. 기념할 만한 걸.
You can't control where anything goes, so
굉장해요.
하늘을 찔렀을 때
징수진행
적확한 한압이었어.
정리하겠습니다. 대받지 않은 것들은 모조리 치워버린다.
이 칼날이 마침내 그놈의 검은 심장에도 박히게 된다면 좋겠어.
저 근데
excuse me.
제게 있는데요.
I don't remember showing you my map. How do you know where you're going? No answers were returned, but the best keeps speeding anyway.
그건 말이지.
By using
감이지.
intuition.
카론의 감.
Caron's intuition.
네?
What?
분홍머리.
Pinky hair.
이상한 종이로 막는 이유가.
Explain why you're weighing that odd paper in Karen's face.
계속
Because you keep going in weird directions. Take a look at this map. Our destination is to the southeast of here. Karen's reluctantly gives the map a cursory glance, as she couldn't continue to ignore it when it was shoved right in her face.
마음이 향하는 곳.
Follow the heart. That's where the truth path lies.
벌써 우리는
Here,
모두
here,
마음이
we all must follow our hearts
나가야만 하네.
as our hearts lead.
그냥 지도 보는 법도 모르는
You're
길치라는
just admitting that you can't read a map.
제가 하고 싶은 말을
You took the words right out of my mouth. Yuri and Ishmael put a palm over their respective faces at the same time, almost like they were in sync.
우리 기사님.
Oh, did our driver make a new friend?
분홍머리가 계속
Pinky
제잘거려.
keeps on blabbing. I know the way.
아니 그러니까
No, I mean, we're heading in the wrong direction.
앞에
Look ahead. More obstacles. Do I vroom vroom? Of course, you always vroom vroom.
기다려봐.
No, Caron. Hold on a moment. Looky, nice bus you got there. Why don't you give me a ride?
메피스토펠레스의 후식 시간인
I
모양이군.
guess Mephistopheles could use a helping of dessert.
내리지.
Get on down, it needs to be fed just a bit more.
주인놈 뜻에 따라 준비 완료. 현
We like-
시간부로 근무 시작.
Ryoshu, so
유감 없는 싸움을
We'll use
기대하겠어.
해보겠네.
우와, 엄청난 공격이었어. 기념할 만한 걸?
해보겠네.
아까처럼만 해. 그럼 이번 전투도 쉽게 갈 수 있을 거야.
대성공이야.
이러네.
가론
대상
신나.
사망.
노래
징수지는
부를까?
전투의 명예 따위를 기대하고 있는 건 아니고
남은 시간이
훌륭하오.
탈탈 털어주는 수밖에.
이외에 특별히 첨언할 이유도 없군.
alright. I mean, knew I was pretty much going to breeze
회수해야 할
through
시간보다 많이 징수해 버렸네.
all of these, but
하지만 체납자가 생명을 다했으니 남은 시간을 T사 시간금고로 환수하는 게 옳은 일이라는 생각도 드는군.
trio.
카론, 이쪽이
Now,
동쪽일까요?
Charon, tell me,
서쪽일까요?
is this east or west?
카론은 두 가지 방향.
Karen only knows two directions.
메피의
Mephie's
앞쪽과
front
뒤쪽.
and back.
지금까지 방향도 모르는
How did
사람이
you come this
어떻게
far,
운전기사를
so far with a
해요?
driver who has zero sense of direction?
카론.
Charon,
그러니까요.
like I said,
해가
the
뜨는
sun
쪽이-
rises from at the driver's seat. Three heads gather together over a map. Well, one of them might have been at a slightly different elevation from the others.
꼬맹이,
Chiquita,
너도 저기 끼어 있어.
aren't you gonna join them too?
무례한 소리.
I beg your
우리는
pardon.
아니라네.
I am no child. I am most certainly not little. Watching Don Quixote shake her fist sky high at Rhodia, I noticed a bitter gaze falling upon them out of the corner of my eye, of my view. I'm starting to think that Yuri might have put up with a rough childhood. Gregor cast a quick glance towards me, shook his head, and went back to watching the driver's side with his chin propped in his head, on his hand.
딱히 어린 편도 아니야.
Wouldn't be the youngest side either.
수 있으면 전쟁에
Some nests
참전부터
used to
시키는
conscript
경우도 있었으니까.
conscript anyone old enough to hold a knife. Nests. They explain that a nest is basically the center of a district, if my memory is correct. Sounds like nests used to get into wars with each other in the past. Did that happen often?
아주 없는 일은 아니었지.
Not frequently, but it sure as hell did happen.
관리자 양반.
Interested in learning about wars, Manager Bud? Oh, I'm not really curious about the details, just gathering info I should know as a manager. Just as I went to speak again, a sideways glimpse of the look on Gregor's face made me pause. He had this faraway look in his eyes, as though he was staring past the driver's seat.
그런 자세를 뭐라고 하고 싶은 건
Don't get me wrong, Manager Bud.
오히려
I'm
좋은
not
자세야.
calling you out or anything.
상당히
Heck,
귀가
it's
많이
actually a
떴지.
pretty stand-up attitude for a boss, I'd say. He slowly continued, taking a pack of cigarettes from his pocket.
그래도
Still,
개인적으로는 뭘
ignorance
수
is
있을 때
bliss,
모르는
if
게
you ask
기회일지도
me.
모른다고 생각해.
I think you should savor it while you still can.
일단 알게 되면
War is the kind of
다시
knowledge
잊을
that
수
sticks
없게
to
될
you and never lets go. Without another word, he lit a cigarette.
아니요, 방금 저쪽에서
No,
우회전을
you should have
했어야죠.
turned right at that intersection.
괜찮아요, 카론.
It's okay,
조금만 더 가서
Charon.
꺾어도
We can turn around at the
올바른
next
길로 갈수
junction.
있어요.
Ah, the woes of a driver.
뭐 지금 더 급한 건
Well,
목적지로 가는 길을
looks
아는
like
거잖아.
we are
그렇지
pressing.
관리자 양반.
We have more pressing matters at hand. Ain't that right, Manager Bud? Gregor chuckled, each snort sending a puff out of his smoke-filled mouth. I was still curious to learn what he'd been through, but he's right that I should focus on other things for now. Because as if on cue, an urgent matter presented itself right before our eyes, or rather, right at the doorstep of our bus. Enough squabbling now. More enemies inbound. You shoved my pals into that bus, you sick bastards. Are you nuts? You'll pay for this. We were just gonna leave the bus with the bus, but now I've got to see you all bleed. The fuel is acting up. Caron gets woozy when many mouths start being noisy. Nothing to worry about, Caron. They'll shut their mouths soon enough. Off the bus. Okay. No, we're not missing post battle.
헌팅 커틀러리 준비 끝.
여러분에게 도움이 되었으면 좋겠네요.
검나를 내게 바쳐주지.
남은 시간.
아까처럼만 해. 그럼 이번 전투도 쉽게 갈 수 있을 거야.
영원한 잠으로 인도.
굉장해요. 낙인을 새겨드리죠. 적확한 한압이었어. 엄청난 공격이었어요. 어떻게 저렇게 강하실 수 있죠?
Why are you not hitting these?
당신의 판단을 따를게요.
대성공이야. 다른 신나. 노래 승객이 딱 콩 한 번 먹었어.
대상 사망. 징수 진행 불가.
지불할 남은 시간을
엄청난 공격이었어.
기념할 만한 걸?
전투 응대는 성공적이었다. 나쁘지 않은 움직임이었어. 이제 다른 쪽 집안일로 돌아가지.
Probably have time to get to everything but the dungeon. So, oh, wait. This one has a post battle. Okay, let's look at the map again. Caron, can you please focus? Question reared its head as I stared at the trio, arguing over the map once again. This bus was made specifically for Limbus Company, right? It was made exclusively for us, to be more precise. Isn't that basically what I said? You don't appear to be catching the nuance. That's weird. I don't think I spoke that part out loud. Is the clock broken or something? I can tell much without hearing it verbalized. There is nothing that Faust doesn't know, after all. Anyway, it must have taken a long while to get it out of the oven, especially with that mouth on the side. It only took the expected amount of time. He's downright oppressive to talk to. Faust is a well-renowned genius. She knows the ins and outs of the city. Oi, if you're so smart, why don't you help those twits at the driver's side figure out the way? Can't sleep a wink with her constant bickering. Faust is no meddler. She answers questions, but doesn't intervene without being asked first. Additionally, there is no greater joy for a human being than to ponder on problems in order to grasp an answer. Faust would rather not spoil that delight.
뭘 골똘히 고민을 해봤어야 공감을
He
하지.
wouldn't get it. I doubt he's pondered on anything ever. I saw Heathcliff's grip on the Bat Titan. However, with Virgilius casting a glare his way, he clicked his tongue as he crossed his arms and forced his eyes shut. I wonder why they're always so prickly. You and me both, Manager Bud. You and me both. With Gregor quietly snickering, the bus resumed its ride. Just getting to know everyone. Only a pre-battle. Alright.
그래, 혹시 저
But,
친구 아는
Greg, you know these people? Give me a break. There's no way I know someone in this corner of the back streets. Gregor's face stiffens the moment he looks out the window. Bugheads? Unlike the other enemies we'd run into, they were part insectoid. Gosh, Dante, thank goodness you are a clock for a head. I would have gagged every time I looked at you if it weren't for a huge bug like them.
저거
Isn't that the same type of augmentation you have, Gregor? They transplant those disgusting bug heads onto their necks on purpose? You'd better stay away. Wouldn't want you to get infected and turn into a bug, nah? Are you serious? Just a joke. You have a weird sense of humor or what? Gregor scratched the back of his head awkwardly as the bus made a dragging rumble and came to a deflating halt. Most former Jeep Corp employees were given biomimetic augmentation procedures like Gregor was. You used to work for the old G Corp, Gregor. Heard back then they were... Ishmael frowned as if she'd remember something unpleasant, but didn't elaborate further. Gregor managed a smile, but his hardened features didn't relax in the slightest. I wonder, where do people like them sleep at night? For many, the sky is a roof over their head, and the stars are their firelight. So they're the poetic sort. I don't think that's what he meant. And I see they're bent on standing. They're bent on standing in our way. Aren't you gonna get off, Gregor? Mind telling me why you're singling me out? Well, I'd rather not be the one to ramble about someone else's history. Take the lead, Gregor. You know the reason full well. You're one nasty fellow. A cluster of insect-headed soldiers were gathered close to the bus. I'm not too fond of taking the lead. What are you? You don't... Why doesn't your arm look like ours? Hold on. I've seen that face before. Mostly on flyers and magazine covers, I bet. Gregor, do you know them from somewhere? Not really important right now, Manager. Now is really not the time to be digging into the past. That arm bothers me. But whatever. Point is, I can't let you through. Is that so? I suppose we can't talk this out. Anyway, shouldn't they at least cover those insect parts before coming out where people can see them? They'd make kids cry. Couldn't they have made their parts less conspicuous like yours, Greg? I'm a special case. The procedure makes those buggy parts grow on the head most of the time. Although, I'm not sure if I should consider myself lucky. Feels like they're trying to stop us from getting to the branch facility for some reason. Are they after the golden bow too? Maybe. They are many there are many who seek the essence after all.
각각이 바라는 소망도 다양할 테고.
And I'm sure they all have their own wishes. Isn't that so?
왜 날 쳐다봐?
Why are you looking at me? I'm just as lost as the others are. Select to battle to begin the encounter with the currently deployed sinners.
내가 나설 차례인가?
Let's learn how to use Ego. Ego are each sinner's unique skills that can be used regardless of the identity they are wearing. Let's inspect Sinner Heathcliff's Ego. Press and hold every Ego currently equipped by Sinner Heathcliff are visible here. Using Ego skills consumes Ego resources and sanity points. The amount of SP consumed by each Ego is listed at the top left corner of its information card. Now, select this, Ego Body Sack. Seems we don't have enough Ego resources to use the Ego skill. Each Ego skill requires a certain amount of Ego resources to activate. Here you can view the number of Ego resources and their affinities required to use this Ego skill. It seems that we do not have enough orange and lust and purple envy Ego resources. Your current Ego resource reserves here. The name of each affinity for Ego resources may still be unfamiliar to you, but you can check which is which by selecting the Ego Sin Affinity Resistance in the Detail Info window. Required Ego resources can be obtained by using skills during battle. For example, an Envy colored skill will grant an Envy resource. As luck would have it, the units currently on the field possess the affinities we need to put them to use.
예술이 뭔지 보여주지.
Press the win rate button in order for the tuners to choose their own skills based on clash win rate. As you can see, an enemy is about to launch a powerful attack against Sinner Heathcliff, and it's unlikely he will win this clash. When a unit is about to clash with a difficult enemy, you can use an Ego skill to turn the situation around. Their high power makes them especially effective against strong enemy skills. If there are any usable Ego skills for which you have enough resources, it will be indicated in the shape surrounding the sinner as shown here. Right here. Press and hold the Sinner Heathcliff's portrait again to extra the Ego selection menu. You now have enough resources to use this Ego skill. Double tap to select his body sack Ego skill and equip it to his slot. Once selected, the Ego skill will automatically be equipped in the bottom skill slot of the respective sinner. Equipping a different Ego skill in the same slot or swapping it for a defense skill will unequip the current Ego skill and refund the Ego resource spent to equip it. Now let's return to the battle at hand.
예술이 뭔지 보여주지.
The SP cost is consumed the moment the Ego skill begins its attack. Be warned, letting a sinner's SP drop too low may cause them to panic or become corroded by their Ego. Now we get to watch him beat with a body sack. Raising your ego skills thread spinning tier unlocks its ego passive. Once the turn in which this unit's use the ego skill ends, the battle moves to the next turn. The skill's unique ego passive will activate. You can view detailed information about ego passives in each sitter's detailed info menu. When another ally defeats an enemy, gain 1 attack power up and 1 haste up until next turn.
폭들을 제거하겠소.
기다려. 아름답진 않네.
We don't have any reason to use other stuff at the moment because we
다음은 침묵을 안겨드리죠.
we are not getting a whole lot of options.
폭의 거울은 깨졌어.
완전한 침묵. 그 누구도 볼 수 없게.
빛은 낙엽하오.
아름답진 않네. 고작 이 정도로 들떠한다면 예술가의 자격은 없는 거지.
도착했다. 역시 카로는 길을 알았던 거야.
We're here. Karon knew the way all along.
역시는 무슨 역시예요?
No, you didn't. Sinclair and I were next to you the whole time, pointing you in the right direction.
그래도 이제 동남
I'm just glad you finally learned how to tell southeast from northeast now, Karon. So this is the old Elcorp?
저도 직접 보는 건
This is my first time seeing it for myself,
그
too.
일이 있고 나서
It can't have been long since that happened.
세상에.
My goodness. How does a building get this run down? So the posh lad can't even handle seeing a grotty place, huh? Cut the chatter. Off the bus now. Huh. There are people over there.
유리 씨와 같은 사무소에
They're fixers from the same office as Miss Yuri. They are experienced explorers who have delved through the branch facilities of Elcorp a number of times. On introduction, then, the person on the left is Hopkins, and the one on the right is Aya. Hello. The Red Gaze. It's such an honor to meet you. I've heard so many stories of your deeds. To see you in person, it's see the shabby warehouse there? That's where the stairs leading down to the branch facility are. From there on, Yuri will be your guide. Yeah. These fixers aren't rookies either. Count on them to deal with any complications. That should be enough, yeah? This is as far as I can accompany you. I'll be waiting back at the bus. Huh? Wait, what? You're sorely mistaken if you expect me to babysit you forever, Dante. You're saying you're going to take a back seat while we do all the work? If I get myself involved, the expedition would be a little too free of challenge, wouldn't it? It'd turn into a happy little tour. In other words, you want us to come back red, black, and blue. That's the sort of thing people say when they're hiding something. Think as you like. I got you guides and all. Now make it count. Yes, I certainly won't disappoint you, Mr. Red Gaze. I'll try my best, I suppose. this battle, you will learn about ego overclocking in this encounter. For this purpose, you will be granted temporary access to one of Senator Ryoshu's egos. You all equipped ego here. Ego resource required to use the deployed center's equipped ego and the amount of ego resources your deployed center can generate here. So this is, yeah, I have to use all of them. Begin the encounter. This is your choice of deployed center and ego. Oh. Oh. Well, I guess that means it's time, and I think everyone else is going to be kicked out. So I guess we go raid Otaku, and I will continue the story sometime next week. Yeah, probably Monday would be my guess, but we'll see if this interests people. I might do it more, but for now, I think it's a once a week thing at the moment. So I've got a lot of other things going on, but thank you all for hanging out. I look forward to doing more Limbus Company. I've enjoyed the game a lot. My only problem with it is how much you have to farm, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah. Hope you all have a great day. We're gonna raid Otaku-san as a friend. I would raid someone in Limbus, but if it's maintenance, then everyone's gonna get kicked out. So I mean, can't really do much with that. So thank you guys. I will be back tonight playing Pandora's Tower on the Wii. It'll be a lot of fun. So that's in about 4 hours. Hope you have a good day, morning, evening, whatever it is for you. Bye.